I just plugged in my microscope. So the first thing I want to do is I want to make sure electricity is working. So I turn it on. Yes, I have electricity. If it doesn't work, let me know. Not all of the sockets work, and so I have to solve your electricity problem if you have one. All right, so you need to make a wet mount. So to make a wet mount, you need water, thus the wet. You need a slide, you need a cover slip, and then you need your specimen. The specimen today is the letter C. So you put your specimen in the middle of the slide. Make sure that, so this is the letter C, so I want to look like the letter C. Put it in the middle. Then add a drop of water on top of your specimen. If it moves a little, you can move it back. And then put a cover slip on. And generally you want to try and put it to avoid as many bubbles as possible. I can kind of push down and try and force bubbles out so that rather than observing bubbles, I observe the letter C. I'm going to double check one more time, make sure my lens is on the lowest because I always want to start there. I put it dead in the middle of the opening. So put it there and then use the clips. All right, one thing I want to say before you start looking is make sure it looks right before you actually look in here. The microscope can do weird things. It may not be what you expect. So you make sure that it's right here. And don't change it just because you see something that looks weird. All right, so I'm going to turn it on and see what I look at. So I see a tiny bit of something, but it's not actually centered. So I'm going to move it, and so now it's centered. All right, that looks perfect. Now, the last thing that I want to say is that a lot of you maybe have used microscopes where you didn't actually see anything. Make sure you see something that looks like the letter C, and then make adjustments using the adjustment bar so that it's as focused as possible. You are going to be sharing the microscope with someone else. Well, everybody's eyes are different. So when the person before you says, oh, this is perfect, and then you look and you're like, wow, that looks blurry to me, it does, because your eyes are different. So you will have to make, first, a lot of you, small differences, small changes between person to person to make it focused for each of you. If you happen to have identical eyes, then you won't, but that's pretty rare. Okay, so I would make my observation, and the only thing I'm going to show you is if I am drawing the letter C and it looks like a normal C, I am going to draw it really big, all right? So because the letter C is microscopic, it's tiny, you get in the habit of drawing your pictures tiny. No, what you want to do is you want to draw your pictures really good. Put your pictures in the middle, and then anything that you want to say about the picture, you label the picture. All right, let's say it's swirly, and it's not swirly, and I don't even know what that word is, but don't overthink the vocabulary right now. You're going to label it around the picture. So picture big, picture in the middle, and then your labels going around. So anytime you have an actual image that you're putting in your lab book, make sure you don't just draw it and label it, but also use colored pencils. Okay, back to the microscope. The last thing I'm going to show you, so you don't do this for the letter C, you're going to do this with hairs when you get to hairs, is if you are ready, so you make sure it's focused, you never ever switch to a higher objective until it's focused. So it's perfectly focused, so I now switch. If I am making an observation, I need to draw a new line. If I had room here, I would draw the line and then put 100x, but I don't, so I would have to put it here, so I put letter C, 100x. You do not do this. This is not part of the instructions. This is just so I can show you. Once you are on medium or high lens, you never touch this one again. This is the fine focus, and so you only adjust it using that one. So I adjust it. I also see that it's slightly out of movement. So I move it back and I turn this until it is beautifully focused. All right. So do not touch this one. Only touch the fine focus when you go to the next highest one. All right, I think that is everything you need to do the lab. Please ask me all of your questions. When you do the hair, you're free to take hair from your arm. You're free to take hair from your hair. If somebody has colored hair, it actually can look really cool. If somebody has damaged hair, a split end looks pretty awesome. Also, finally, it's really cool if the two hairs are different colors. So good luck. Hope you enjoy learning how to use a microscope. If you've never used a microscope before, let me know so I can give you extra help.